Being an overall better leader. I think a big thing is, finding where everybody has needs that need to be met, and a lot of people have different stuff that they need help with, and I think I have a good eye to see what people need help with, and I can convey that to them.
If every single player came back with that same mentality of wanting to make everyone else 1 inch better, how beneficial do you think that would be inside the Tennessee program?
I think it would be huge. I think the biggest thing is stacking days and being consistent, and I think if everybody's consistent through the whole program, then I think we'll be in a lot better spot.
How would you describe the attitude of this program right now versus when the staff first got here a couple years ago?
I would say we're in an overall better headspace. I think coming off of a rough year, I think anybody, no matter who the coach is, if you're winning a lot or if you're losing a lot of those games that we lost, you're going to be unhappy. Football's too hard of a game to be losing all the time. So I think on the flip side of that, we won 11 games last year. I think that just has everybody in a better headspace and a lot more eager to work. I think we work a lot more extra work going on, and I think we're just in an overall better spot.
When you look at how much success you guys have enjoyed in such a short amount of time since that flip, what do you feel like is the biggest reason why that's happened?
I would say we're on probably more all on the same wavelength. I think we're all in this together, and we're all trying to get to one location. And I think when everybody's on the same journey with you, it's a lot easier.
Without Wright and Carvin on the offensive line, how do you see those holes being filled? How are you personally going to try and help fill in those gaps?
Yeah, I'm just going to do my part and make sure everybody has as much help they need with the calls and everything, make sure everybody's on the same path. But we've got a lot of different spots that, have been jumbled up and filling in. Like the tackles I talked about earlier, we got like 4 guys, John Campbell, J.J. Crawford, Gerald Mincy, Dane Davis, those guys fighting for the spots. You've got guys like Ollie Lane, Addison Nichols, Andre Karich. There's a lot of guys that are trying to work and figure out who's going to be that top of a rough loss like we had in Nashville, where everybody had a bad taste in their mouth. He came in fired up with some juice, just excited about where we were going in the future, and told us that, it was just with conviction that he knew that we were going to go great places, and, we did.
How much longer was it after that loss? Was it like a week or how long?
A couple weeks. I'm not sure exact time frame, but
what was the first team meeting this year like? How did that compare in your book? Does he still just say, hey, we're going to win the East? Does it sort of start there, or what's on the board?
Yeah, well, that's our starting point. When you win the East, that puts you in play for everything else that can come after that. You don't want to put the cart before the horse and say, the next thing is better than the first thing you got to do. So we got to get the SEC East done first, and then that'll put us in position to do whatever else we want to do.
At what point last year did you realize how much better the team was? I know the margins can be fine, but when did you maybe notice or think about it a little bit?
Probably around just when we started practicing for real, like fall camp, when you get close toward the season. Spring's a time for everybody to grow, but you don't really see your team gelling as much. It's more people trying new things and, just trying to figure out stuff. But, when you get into fall camp, that's when everything starts to gel and mesh. And I think when you have a guy like Hendo, you kind of know you're going to be good. So we had that feeling going into the camp, but seeing how it all played out, it was really nice what we had going on.
What do you feel like you guys need to get to that next level and win the East and win all the other things that are out there?
I think there's a lot of things. It's a game of inches. So trying to figure out the small little details that we, what brought us off track last year, trying to rein that back in and just have a better game plan and play better. It comes down to that. Simple as that. They were better on whoever it was that beat us. They were better on that day than us, and we need to figure out how to change that.
How have you seen Nico go about his business since he arrived, obviously as a 5-star and a lot of hype and a lot of talk, but how has he handled his business?
I would say with humility. That would be my first thing. I think he came in here humble and eager to work, was coming up and asking me questions, trying to see the whole game and figure out what I was seeing and, how I applied it. So it was really cool to me, just a young kid, with a lot of stuff on his plate, him coming in here and trying to figure out what's going on and just being humble.
And what's it been like to watch Joe kind of take him under his wing in a similar manner to the way Hendon and Joe had their relationship, and now that kind of seems to turn into Joe and Nico having a pretty cool relationship?
Yeah, it's just Joe paying it forward, and he's doing the right thing, So there's a lot of people that probably do the wrong thing, but I think cultivating growth behind you is the best thing you can do. I always help anybody that's going to be in the center spot in the future. I'm always going to give them my 2 cents and help them be a better football player, because I know how it feels when you're young. There's a lot of stuff that you don't know, and you don't even know that you don't know it. So somebody opening your eyes and giving their 2 cents could go a long way.
how's your leadership grown and Spraggins as well, with Carvin moving on, Darnell moving on? How have y'all grown as leaders this offseason?
I think it was just something that we knew we had to do. It's just a step up. So, I was a good bit of a leader last year with Jerome probably having more of the reign. But with Jerome gone, it's who's going to step up. And, that's just the position that I was in. And, just got to get it done.
What did you learn from Jerome last year, just kind of that being a leader?
Yeah, just come to work with the right attitude every day. If you look at a guy like Jerome, no matter when you find him, he's always going to have a smile on his face. So just being able to kind of adapt that personality trait and just do everything the right way with the right mentality, and everything else will kind of fall into place.
How common is it for offensive linemen to always have smiles on their faces? Doesn't seem like a common O-line trait.
It just depends on the one you find, I guess. I've met a lot of unhappy linemen. I've met a lot of happy ones, but I'd rather be the happy one personally. So I'm trying to get there.